Nnamdi Kanu is a clear example. In 2022, Nigeria's Court of Appeal struck down the charges against him and ordered his release. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has also called for his unconditional release. Yet he remains in solitary confinement, in deteriorating health, and recently had to represent himself in court. Nigeria has signaled that the law is optional and targeting Christians is fair game. Just hours ago this morning, despite the pleas and cries of the Nigerian people and many Nigerian lawmakers, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was convicted on all charges. For fiscal year 2025, the U.S. has requested nearly $8 billion for sub-Saharan Africa. But when Americans see political prisoners, judicial defiance, and the slaughter of Christians, they understandably ask as they meet their own struggles, why should our tax dollars support governments that refuse to protect their own people? Is our aid aiding a genocide? Nigeria is a nation of tremendous potential, but that potential is being choked out by violent persecution of its Christian population. No country can build a stable future where churches are burned, believers are killed, and communities live in fear. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a clear example. In 2022, Nigeria's Court of Appeal struck down the charges against him and ordered his release. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has also called for his unconditional release. Yet he remains in solitary confinement, in deteriorating health, and recently had to represent himself in court. Nigeria has signaled that the law is optional and targeting Christians is fair game. Just hours ago this morning, despite the pleas and cries of the Nigerian people and many Nigerian lawmakers, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was convicted on all charges. For fiscal year 2025, the U.S. has requested nearly $8 billion for sub-Saharan Africa. But when Americans see political prisoners, judicial defiance, and the slaughter of Christians, they understandably ask as they meet their own struggles, why should our tax dollars support governments that refuse to protect their own people? Is our aid aiding a genocide? Nigeria is a nation of tremendous potential, but that potential is being choked out by violent persecution of its Christian population. No country can build a stable future where churches are burned, believers are killed, and communities live in fear. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a clear example. In 2022, Nigeria's Court of Appeal struck down the charges against him and ordered his release. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has also called for his unconditional release. Yet he remains in solitary confinement, in deteriorating health, and recently had to represent himself in court. Nigeria has signaled that the law is optional and targeting Christians is fair game. Just hours ago this morning, despite the pleas and cries of the Nigerian people and many Nigerian lawmakers, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was convicted on all charges. For fiscal year 2025, the U.S. has requested nearly $8 billion for sub-Saharan Africa. But when Americans see political prisoners, judicial defiance, and the slaughter of Christians, they understandably ask as they meet their own struggles, why should our tax dollars support governments that refuse to protect their own people? Is our aid aiding a genocide? Nigeria is a nation of tremendous potential, but that potential is being choked out by violent persecution of its Christian population. No country can build a stable future where churches are burned, believers are killed, and communities live in fear.
My people, na how on a day. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where you listen to the sound of my voice. This is the Biafra Superstars Media, and I'm holding it down. I say, may God bless Biafra, may God bless His Excellency, Oyendo Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. May God bless His Excellency, Oyendo Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. May God bless His Excellency, Oyendo Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. May God bless, may God bless, may God bless His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Biafra, USB, His Excellency, ESN, EKPA, Simon Njoku, for the job Simon is doing. Someone I want to say we thank you, we appreciate you, we love you, because we know in your hands Biafra has come, in your hands Biafra will be safe, and in your hands, now that Biafra has come, the people of Biafra will rejoice. When I say the people, I mean the men, the women, the children, the old, the young, the sick, the mild, the gentle, the civilized and the uncivilized, those born in Biafra and those born in the Bight of Biafra, we shall all come together under one voice, under one accord, under one union, under one government, and under one God, to scream for Hallelujah Day, the day that the God of Biafra has made. My fellow Biafrans, we all saw what transpired yesterday. Sometimes, when things like this happen, we that know what's up, we that understand there is a war going on, we that understand that the moment Nigerian government, they kidnap you, they arrest you, they set you up, you are in the custody of Nigeria. We know you should see yourself as a prisoner of war. For those who assume that Nnamdi Kanu will get a free hearing in court, yesterday you saw how the court and the law was bended, tilted towards favoring the Nigerian system. What else do I expect from Nigeria? I'll be a liar if I expected otherwise from them, because we know how to roll. I mean, they brought the bar so low that you are now being seen as a terrorist for saying something, for speaking something. You are now a terrorist. A man called Nigeria Zoo. Because of that, they are angry. But Trump can call you a disgraced country, and you will rush to America to go and plead with Trump. Trump can call you a shithole country, and you will run down to America to go and bow down and beg to get a visa to Trump. A man said, yes, good news, the US embassy has shut down. It means, according to Justice James Omotosho, a stark functioning illiterate who couldn't even read like a 3-year-old. That idiot was reading like a 3-year-old. Now I understand what's in his mind. A man said, yeah, we thank God. Look at the US embassy, they already shut down. According to James Omotosho, it means he's a terrorist. It means he has ulterior motive. It means he has committed an act of terrorism. I was just taken aback laughing when he was going through that, reading like a child. It was very, very embarrassing for Nigeria and embarrassing for him, somebody who is a judge. It makes you to ask yourself, how did they even pass his English, his WAEC? How did they pass literature in English to study law? How did they pass it? I am glad you all saw him embarrass himself there. Well, sometimes things like this happen. Just to let you all know that Nigeria is not a place where you expect law. Because to call a spade, if you are going that low, if you want to stoop that low, then there was a man who said he does not believe in Nigeria. He does not believe in one Nigeria. It was spoken and it was written. Today, that man is your president. So, we understand the games of Nigeria, how they roll. All I want to say is, please do not expect a miracle to come out of Nigeria. There is a reason why Nigeria is going through what it's going through today. There is a reason why the Boko Haram, ISIS, the Fulani Cabal, they are now emboldened to take over Nigeria, because they've seen that the standard has gone so low that right now, a people now controls Nigeria. As we speak, the Fulani Cabal, they are now above the law. They can do what they want to do. As we speak, you see how things are going. Terrorists are being abandoned. They call them born again. They have repented. They integrate them into your army, your police, your navy. It can only happen in a conquered country or a contraption where the children of those who run the country are now above the law. The relatives, the people of those are above the law. But unfortunately, the way things are going, some people have been allowed to be a useful tool to the caliphate. It's very, very sad. But like I said, we shouldn't expect anything from Nigeria. As the saying goes, in most cases, you must learn to give what belongs to Nigeria, and to God, to God. Give what belongs to Nigeria, and to Biafra. Give what belongs to Caesar, and to God, to God. A man told us that the best approach to release our leader Nnamdi Kanu will be through a prisoner exchange. a favor for a favor, a prisoner for a prisoner. That man was Mazi Simon Ekpa, because he's a realist. He understands that what the legal team were doing, they were just wasting their time. They wanted to conform with the law of Nigeria. But we know, Oyendo knows that Nigeria will not do the right thing. And I am so glad he opted to defend himself, to shine more light on the ills of Nigeria. But Nigeria being a criminal country, Nigeria being a 419 country, you saw how they messed up the mic he was using. The mic was not audible enough. So people around the whole world didn't hear what he said. That's how low Nigeria can go when it comes to impunity. A man was given the chance to speak, but they gave him a tampered microphone, and we couldn't hear what he was saying. This thing was designed to fail from the beginning, from the very end. So please, my people, today, I just want to say stay strong. Ignore what they are doing in Nigeria. Ignore the noise. They want to punish us. They want to blame us because today, America has placed Nigeria where they are. The light of America, the whole world is shining on Nigeria. And today they are running like a rat, being exposed in daylight. So at this point, I want us to feel the sentiments of our people in Biafra land. And the best place to look at, first of all, is the home place of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let us hear what they are saying about the verdict. Let us understand how they perceive what has happened yesterday. And hopefully, afterwards, I will play a video of a great man, a friend, a freedom fighter who believes in human rights, a Kenyan human rights lawyer, on his take on Nnamdi Kanu. And hopefully, going forward, you will understand that the game has just started. Because in Nigeria right now, we the Biafrans, we are all condemned to die. If you say anything online as we speak every day, it means you are guilty. If I say now that Nigeria will burn down, I will burn Nigeria to the ground, automatically now I am a terrorist because according to me, I said I will burn Nigeria to the ground. That's how low they've put the standard. For we the Biafrans, that's how low they've put the standard. But before your own eyes, you saw the killing of Deborah. A young Fulani man came in the public in the video and he was showing you the matches. He was showing you the matches, the evidence. This is the matches I used to burn that girl up, that Christian up. I killed her. I burnt her alive. This is the matches. In his boldness, he was showing you the evidence. Not just speaking, but also showing you the proof of what he did on video. But today, that man is walking free. No charge on him, no evidence that he did anything. But a man who spoke with the microphone, a man with a laptop and a microphone, with an internet, broadband, to communicate, is being seen as a terrorist because he said this, or you said that, or you said, we shall bury with 1,000 head. Well, can you imagine how low that those animals are in that zoo? And you expect us to conform in a country like that, where when it comes to the Biafrans, they've brought the bar so low that anything you say, they can manipulate it in court and use against you? And you expect us to conform with a system like that? They must be joking. At this point, my people, let us listen to what is going on in the hometown of Nnamdi Kanu. And I'll continue from there. Listen.
Here at the country home of the pro-Biafra leader, a once vibrant residence is now quiet and desolate. What remains?
Hold it there. This is the home of Nnamdi Kanu. Right out the gate. The evidence are still there. How many years ago? The ruin, the damage done by the Nigerian military is still there. 3 cars still destroyed. Till now, it's still there. This is the home of Nnamdi Kanu. A just man who they thought they could buy him. They thought money was the problem. But today, he is proven to the whole world. You cannot buy my soul. Freedom is worth more than silver nor gold. Keep on going.
only be described as the spoils of conflict. Umuahia appears deserted, and visibly angry kinsmen of Nnamdi Kanu declined to speak on camera. They say they lost both of Kanu's parents to the struggle for Biafra, and now their son must spend the rest of his life in prison for fighting for the rights of his people, a situation they describe as heartbreaking. Some residents who spoke with Arise News described the judgment as inhuman and unacceptable. They urge him to approach the Court of Appeal for a fair hearing, lamenting that the courts are no longer the last hope of the common man.
Last imprisonment, what does that mean? Did he kill somebody or protecting his country? No, I said no. Judgment is bad now.
I heard the judge, because I'm like following the judgment today. I heard the judge telling him that you can appeal after my judgment. So let's see how it goes. But to tell you, you can see the environment everywhere is like quiet. It's like this place is like, I don't know how to put it. What happens today? They have murdered justice.
But that is just agitating, that has nothing, no gun, no nothing, then just sentence him to life imprisonment. It's okay.
Very terrible judgments, very bad judgments. But I pray that the president will give him presidential pardon. That I think is an option, it's what we need now.
People who have been judging and said the child and acquitted, they are not stupid. They did it according to the Nigerian law. How is it that they just now turning the whole thing? They don't tell us the reason why it should be so. We are listening. We are watching them.
The streets of Umuahia, once busy, appears to have become gradually desolate. This is following the judgment given by Justice Omotosho, handing down life imprisonment to the pro-Biafran leader, Nnamdi Kanu. A lot of persons declined comments on camera. For them, this is a judgment taken too far. They also believe that the appeal window could be a win-win for their leader. From Umuahia.
From Umuahia, my sister, well spoken, well said. The Nigerian journalist there doing a thing, at least, because sometimes I want to see the pulse, understand, the temperature around, and I'm glad at least those guys, they understand, sometimes, like they said, this man came from there. That's his hometown. That's his hometown. I'm glad as people, they understand his message, they understand the assignment, and they are calm. So if they are calm, I want to ask everybody else, all the Biafrans, to remain calm. Because to tell you the truth, I wasn't expecting any other thing from Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped from Kenya. Do you think they kidnapped him to try him in court? No. When you go to kidnap somebody from a foreign land, you have gone through the extreme. But I'm glad today in Nigeria now, kidnapping is now at an all-time high. So sometimes these things, the chicken always comes home to roost. But I want to assure you all that the job has just started. For we, the Biafrans, freedom fighter, our job has just started. And I promise you all, I will triple my effort. I will triple my effort, because the way I'm looking at this, America is the last blockbuster for us. America, God's own country. I think they are the only one that gets it, because the same people broke out from Britain. Britain, who is holding us. Britain holding us in captive. The same America broke out of Britain. And that judge was saying, Nnamdi Kanu, he said, it is Biafra or death. I'm ready to die. To him, that's a terrorist statement. But God's own country, Britain, said, give me liberty or give me death. That was the mantra of America when they were fighting for their freedom from USA. Give me liberty or give me death. And today, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, every politician are begging to go to USA. So please ignore these guys when they do their things, but it is embarrassing that it's coming from, it's coming from somebody that we expected would be educated enough to do the right thing. But it is clear. This same man, this same judge, Wike's boy, this same judge, we know what's going on. But now, when you heard him read in English, I hope now you understand why he's acting the way he's acting. When you heard Justice James Omotosho read in English, how poor it was. Now you understand, because sometimes I was asking myself, are these people sick? Is there like a cancer that makes Nigerians to act the way they act? The Nigerian officers, the Nigerian government, the Nigerian, I'm asking, why do these guys act this way? Now I've gotten part of the answers. I think it is lack of education. And some people being pushed to be in a position in order to create impunity. This same man, we knew what he did in Port Harcourt. This same judge was the one, a man calling on Jesus. God did this. This same man was the one who did what he did, the magic he did in Imo State, where a governor who came number 4 became number 1. This same judge did all these things. So what else do you expect? Is my question. What else do you expect? You have seen the track record of this man. Those who believe in Nigeria, what else do you expect? So sometimes we need to understand, these things, they do happen. When you see somebody in a position, in most cases, they don't know what they are doing, but they were placed there for a particular reason. And for the fact they are placed there for a particular reason, they will have to carry out the agenda. But it was so funny that when he started this case, when he picked up the case of Nnamdi Kanu from the beginning, you saw how he came speaking about Jesus. Oh, Nnamdi Kanu, I'm a good man. I knew when I was young, I want to believe in God. God will help us follow this case. You have suffered a lot. This case has taken so much. And now I'm the new judge. I want to believe I know you very well. I will try my best to make this case to go smoothly. You have suffered too much. It's unfair. That was how he was speaking at the beginning of him taking over the case. But towards the end, on the last day of giving judgment, see how rude and how unruly he was. Look at the words he was using to describe Nnamdi Kanu. He showed his real color. In fact, he was angrier than the prosecutors. The judge was angrier than the prosecutors. All the same sound bites he was using. Nnamdi Kanu said this will happen, that will happen, go to this, go to that. And I was just laughing. I said, wow, this guy has lost his cool. I could see the anger, I could see the pain, I could see the hatred he had for Nnamdi Kanu. So my people, please, the work has just started. The work has just started. This job is not going to be easy. This job is not going to be easy. But for those who said, oh yes, there is a deal. Bianca or Ojukwu told you there is a deal, that the main deal now, Simon Ekpa is the problem. Simon Ekpa is the one delaying the release of Nnamdi Kanu. For the DOS who said Simon Ekpa was the one delaying Nnamdi Kanu, that once we can shut down Simon Ekpa, then they will release Nnamdi Kanu. Today as we speak, Bianca Onu, she is in USA at the Congress trying to make Nigeria trying to help the US, beg the US to remove Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Where is her promise? All the promises she made that Nnamdi Kanu, I assure you guys, he'll be released immediately. But the problem is Simon Ekpa. Get Simon Ekpa out and he'll be a free man. Where are the governors who were saying, don't worry, it's a job done, the job is done, we'll release him very, very soon? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they when you need them? Governor Utisef put his mouth and said, oh, Nnamdi Kanu will be released very, very soon. Because they have lied to them. They took the words of the Nigerian government. They believed what they heard from the Nigerian, government. The presidency says, don't worry. The president will listen now. They cannot, don't worry. And they will come and spill that. I don't blame them. So Ludo, who did a campaign with the name of Nnamdi Kanu, all we are saying, give us Kanu, all those nonsense they did. Where are they to today? Where are the who is who in the land of the Biafra? Where are the who is who in the land from the southeast? Where are the stakeholders, the critical stakeholders, those with the most influence? The influencers, the movers and shakers of the southeast, they're nowhere to be found because technically their hands are tied. And people, we're at war. I want you all to know that we are at war. This war is real. So please, going forward, I want to beg on every other person who is a Biafra and listen to my voice. Going forward, please, do not fall for the games that will come, because they will come. They will come and find a way to blackmail you and say, hey, this boy is the problem. Catch this one. Then we will chat. Forget those nonsense. They promised you, if you blackmail Simon Ekpa, they will release Nnamdi Kanu. And some of you fell for it. Bianca will know who she fell for it. Today, Simon Ekpa is being held in jail in Finland because you all went to Finland to blackmail him. Your own people went to Finland. The Biafrans went to Finland to blackmail Simon Ekpa, with the hope that by so doing, Nnamdi Kanu will be released. You all went to blackmail the most beloved disciple of Nnamdi Kanu in Finland. Bianca Ojukwu, well, I hope you see that you are being used now by the Nigerian government. You are being seen as a useful idiot. They are using you. They are using your name, the name of your husband, your late husband, Ojukwu. Even though I've been saying here now for more than 6 months that the woman we should be respecting is the one they call Njideka Ojukwu, the first wife of Ojukwu, the one who was there with Ojukwu during the Biafran War, the one who took care of the children of Ojukwu during the Biafran War, the one that when Ojukwu left, she carried the children of Ojukwu and Philip Effiong along with her to safety. That's the one. That's the one we should be respecting. That's the one we should respect and appreciate. That's the one that deserves all the accolade. But you guys have chosen to go with the glamour one, the one who came after the Biafran War, the one who came after Ojukwu returned back to Nigeria. The one who perhaps she was not born during the Biafran War. A glamour girl. A glamour girl. That's the one you people are expecting to do something on behalf of Biafra. She didn't understand Biafra. She was not born during the Biafran War. She doesn't understand even her husband that she married. She doesn't understand what the husband entails, the meaning, the influence her husband has on the Biafrans. She doesn't understand this. What she's after is money and politics. And I'm asking myself, even in the Bible, the apostles told that person, silver and gold I have none, but what I want to give to you is everlasting life. Why is she after silver and gold from Nigeria? Why is she after money, favors from Nigeria? When what she already has, if she understands what is it's in her hand, if she understands the power she has already, it is bigger than any political position. She is the wife of the EKPA of Newi, the Biafran warlord, a man that we hold like God on earth, a man we appreciate, a man that we can do anything for, a man who is the face of Biafra. A man who helped us to redeclare a country that existed for 3 years and counting. How come she's letting go all these things and she's after contracts, after lobbying to become a politician under a Tinubu government? And now she's been used. She was used against Simon Ekpa. And now she was used to trick the Biafrans that, hey, don't worry, they'll release Nnamdi Kanu. And now, at the time when America placed Nigeria as a country of particular concern, again they have used her to go down to America to speak and say, hey, my husband is Ojukwu. He is the leader, or he was the leader of the Biafra movement. My husband controlled the whole of the eastern region. As we speak, most of what is happening today happened in the eastern region. I want to assure you there is no genocide of Christians in Nigeria. My husband controlled Biafra, a country that is largely Christians, Jews, and traditional worshippers. My husband. Same thing she did when it came to the case of Simon Ekpa. She told Finland, my husband, yes, he was the one that arrowhead the freedom of the movement for Biafra. But today I'm telling you, what this man is doing in Finland has nothing to do with my husband. We don't believe in Simon Ekpa. He's a charlatan, he's a fraud, he's a fake. Hence we're telling you, not in the name of Biafra, not in the name of my husband is Simon Ekpa doing what he's doing. And sadly, the wife of Nnamdi Kanu, Uchechi Kanu, from the speech they wrote, she said, yes, my husband is the leader of IPOB, a man respected by all. And I want to tell you that Simon Ekpa, what he's doing, not in my husband's name. We don't believe in him. He's a charlatan. He's working for the Nigerian government, for some politicians. They took their words and their testimony against Simon Ekpa. But today, Uchechi Kanu, we saw the way you hugged Bianca. She told you in confidence that the moment Simon Ekpa is dealt with, your husband Nnamdi Kanu will be a free man. We saw how you came out in the public to attack Simon Ekpa. You called him a midget. You said that's small thing in Finland. Uchechi, today, those that you trusted, they have betrayed you. So I want to plead with everybody. Let this be a learning moment for us. Do not betray your own going forward. I am begging you all in the name of God. Do not listen to your politicians when they come to you in the private to solicit your support, to make you go against somebody and tell you that Abuja is ready to do this or that. Please. Nigeria is a lie. Nigerian politicians, they are liars. They are a bunch of deceivers. Do not betray your own going forward. You Biafrans, we must learn from this. I beg of you, going forward, do not betray your leaders no more. If you have a problem with somebody, you deal with it in-house. Don't come in the public and say things. Nigeria cannot be trusted. Today, I know all our governors, all the politicians, Elder Mbazulu Amechi will be rolling in his grave because this same man went to Buhari and pleaded with him. An old man went to Buhari, begged him to release his son Nnamdi Kanu in his custody. And the Buhari government promised him that everything will be fine. Today, that elder is dead and Buhari is dead. But the problem still persists. So please, I want to call on all the stakeholders. Nigeria is a lie. You know, most of you that grew up in the East, my Biafran brothers who grew up in the East, you are making this mistake. We have the culture of Makobi Wanne. When someone tells you something in confidence, you believe what they say. When someone tells you something in confidence, you believe them because you assume you are dealing with the principles of Makobi Wanne. But there are some of us that grew up in the East and in the West. There are some of us that we were doing both ways. Our brain was swinging from the Southeast to the Southwest. We know the antics, we know the games, we know the culture of the Southwest. To call a spade here. We know how they roll, we know the psychology. When they say things, in most cases, do not take it on facial value. Even when it is documented, do not take it. You saw what's happening in Lagos, how they are destroying your businesses. One man came and turned things around. One man came with tribalism, and today, look at what is happening to the businesses of the Biafrans in Lagos. So you guys who still believe in the word of mouth, Makobi Wanne, he told me this. I've been assured Nnamdi Kanu will be released. They have promised me that Simon Ekpa will be released. I've been assured, they assured me. I went to the government house, I met with the presidency, and he told me, Governor Oti, take note. Governor Oti, take note. Do not believe them on facial value. I know our culture is good, Makobi Wane. When someone tells you something, you believe them because you assume it's coming from a genuine place. But I'm telling you that in Lagos, things are different right now. There was a drastic change in Lagos. It started from the year 1999 when a certain man became the governor of Lagos State. I've said that story over and over again, but sometimes you guys don't want to listen. You think this boy who is speaking is a small boy. He's just having fun. He's cracking jokes in his video. He doesn't show his face. Who is this boy? He's just speaking. But I'm telling you, there was a drastic change. There was a shift, a tilt in Lagos State from the year 1999 when a certain man became the governor. And he saw how amazing Lagos was. But the best way to control the narrative, the best way to control the wealth was to come with tribalism. Was to say, what the hell are you Yorubas doing that within the government house here? I'm seeing the Igbos, the Hausa, the Calabar. During those days, the Calabar, they were so much in Lagos. They were doing very, very well in Lagos. They were working in government houses in Lagos. They were in the civil service of Lagos. And they said, how come? How can this be possible? Commissioners are from the Calabar. What's going on here? You'll be hearing those names. Etebe, Ikot, Enang, all those names. Those were pioneers doing great jobs in Lagos then. They were, oh my God. And this man came and said, no, this nonsense has to change. It's not possible. This man with a mind frame, he came from a place of tribalism. He's a tribal bigot. He came and saw the harmony. People working in harmony. And he said, no, to control this for myself, I need to bring in my people from a different state. And he came with the agenda. And before you knew it, I say before you knew it, there was a head count happening in all the different government status in Lagos, in the civil service, in the councils, in the local government. Head count, retrenchment, job losses. The Igbos were affected, the Calabars were affected. And after that, they kept on doing it. They were now changing the face. Suddenly, the standard of Lagos started coming down. Because those in government now, they are no longer accountable. Those in Lagos government then, they were just taking the money. They were no longer accountable in terms of keeping things clean. As a young boy, I used to see the red bus. They call it the LSTTC bus back then. You go into that bus, a ticket man will give you a ticket from a machine. There was no conductor. There was no agbero back then. You go into the bus, a ticket man is there like in the Western world, and they give you a ticket. But from 1999, these new guys in charge, they didn't like that because that was showing transparency, accountability, and integrity. The CIA. They didn't like that. They said, no, we have to do it in a different way. Get some thugs. Bring the system so low. Get thugs to be collecting cash. And before you know it, even the buses they had back then, the LSC buses, those red buses, they stopped having it, and you now had your Moluwe and the rest of them. Standard was coming down. Agbero was coming up. Things were changing. The remaining guys, like my uncles back then in the government works, in the civil service back then, in the civil service and all those things in Lagos, they stopped dressing up in their traditional attires every Friday. Because if you dress up showing your Ishiago on a Friday, they will now know you are able to. The remaining guys will have to be sacked. Most of them went, oh my God. I say most of them went to court to change their names. Their Igbo sounding name, their Calabar sounding name, they changed those names to sound more Lagosians. If you're from Lagos, you will know some kind of names that those from the Awori they use. It sounds more westernized. Things like Meadows, that's a surname from somebody, one of the, oh my God, have mercy, Lord. How should I put it? The indigenous of Lagos, the Aworis, their own name are more westernized. Someone name will be Folake Meadows. Meadows. One will be Michael Adeyinka Nash, Nash. And I was wondering, I was asking them, are you from the US? They said, no, that's our name now. That's our family name. I didn't get it then. I'm saying, no, but how come your name is West, your surname is English name? He said, yeah. You know, it took me a while to understand that something must have happened to those who were the original people of Lagos. So those who were working, they started changing their names as well. Your Igbo surname, if you want to keep your job, you have to change it, unfortunately. You go to the courts and change your names back then just to survive in Lagos. The trajectory started from the year 1999. And today, or what had happened, is now reflecting in Aso Rock. The same man who created travesty, who created tribalism in Lagos, the figurehead that made this enmity between the Igbos and now it's now Igbo and Yoruba. Because back then there was the Calabas were there, you know, the Delta guys were there, the Middle Belt were there in Lagos doing their own stuff. Plateau boys were there, guys from Jos, they were all there doing their stuff. But they had to back down. As they all backed down, a new phase came. Those who went, okay, there is no more job, let's go into business. They were now going into business, buying goods from Germany, from Belgium, and the rest of them. So business now helped them. The Igbos now left the civil service for the government back then of Lagos. And they were doing their business. And as God will have it, they were succeeding in their business. And suddenly, the focus was now Igbos doing business in Lagos. They have stolen the land of Lagos. They have bought all over Lagos. A new wave of the tribal bigotry happening in Lagos. We heard the Oba come out in the public. The Oba said, if you vote somebody else, we'll throw you into the lagoon. Today, that man is a free man, but now the Kanu who spoke is guilty as a terrorist. Somebody who say, if you vote somebody else, all the Igbos, we shall throw you into the lagoon. That's a genocidist. If you are going by the standard, the low standard, someone who says all the Igbos, we shall throw you into the lagoon. People were killed. People came and said, Iyashukudi, no come out to, Iyashukudi, no come out to. MC Olomo came out and said, Iyashukudi, no come out to, and during your election, people died. Will they hold him for his words against those that died? No. But in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, because he spoke on the microphone in 3,000 miles away, England, he's been held responsible. But those that did it in Lagos, those who came out in the public and said, Iyashukudi, no come out for your election, no, Iyashukudi, I sabi you, but no come out, no come out. Today, people died in Lagos. People were injured in the election, 2023 election. But MC Olomo is a free man. In fact, he was rewarded. He's now the head of whatever in Abuja. That's Nigeria for you. The same man who destroyed Lagos is now the same man managing the affairs of Nigeria. So what do you expect? A leopard can never change the skin. The same impunity. It is now worse on the National League. He's now in the National League. It is now worse. A place where the judges, Nigerian Association, they were singing, on your mandate we stand. a song by a political song, the slogan of a political party, a man within the political party, is now a national song in Nigeria. Oh, what a shame. So please, the Biafrans out there, to the whole world, today is a day after the judgment from that zoo called Nigeria. I want to plead with you to stay strong. Be focused. But please learn from this. Do not betray your brothers or sisters no more. Do not assume there is a way to do this thing. There is a politics. You are dealing with the governors. Those in the DOS, you said you were dealing with the governors. That Saminepa was slowing you down. Please, going forward, do not work with them no more. They are all telling lies. All their hands are tied. The governors, they may have assumed they are doing something with the presidency. But now you can see that they were used and they were dumped. They were just useful idiots. Their hands were tied. They can't do nothing to influence the release of Nnamdi Kanu. I'm sorry, but I have to say it. The only way to release Nnamdi Kanu is the best way, as told by our Prime Minister, through a prisoner exchange. A favor for a favor. That's the only way we can release Nnamdi Kanu. We are at war with Nigeria. We are at war. So rise up and be strong. Stay focused. And keep your eyes on the rising sun. That was the assignment given to us. To keep our eyes on the rising sun. I rest my case. For those that have ears, let them hear. For those that have ears, let them hear. No more talk.
Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits that kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.